The Confidence Cornerstone Study, Session 3, Internal BS or Belief Systems. Jo Saxton wrote in her book, Ready to Rise, it's not just about the bad news when women don't get to be all they were designed to be. It's the absence of the good news for human flourishing that matters too. Last session, we talked about several external factors that can limit our confidence. This session will focus on the internal limiting beliefs that hold us back. We all have a past that influences how we approach the world, but you don't have to remain stuck with insufficient confidence or settle for being less than the leader you know you can be. The problem is we've bought into some BS, belief systems, that our culture and experiences have programmed into our thinking. For some of us, that programming goes back a long way. It's a bit like getting ready to move to a new house after living in the same house for 30 or 40 years. There is some junk inside those closets, in those drawers, and in places you don't even remember storing anything. Attic, shed, garage, under the bed, and it just needs to go. It's no longer useful. Or was it ever? And it'll just clutter your beautiful new space. Going through the junk that's accumulated is ugly and messy, but it will be worth it in the end. Not only will you benefit, but so will the women around you and those you influence in the future. So be strong. We're in this together. BS revealed. Think about your experiences at work and the efforts you've made to advance in your career. Generally speaking, women have developed habits and ways of thinking that can actually contribute to damaging the perception others have of us at work. Some of our thought processes can also be detrimental to our own confidence in ourselves. It's important to become aware of the habits and thought processes you may have unknowingly adopted, since they only make it more difficult to shift the conversation in favor of all that women have to contribute. You may not do all of these, not everyone does, but consider these tendencies that women have and see which ones might apply to you. Dwelling on our past mistakes and failures. When a woman makes a mistake, no matter how minor, it is likely that she will ruminate on it for an extended period of time. She will too often beat herself up over having made the mistake and judge herself more harshly than those around her do. Believing that women are 20% less valuable than men. The messages we've received from society indicate we're less valuable. So we've come to believe it about ourselves, even though it's a lie. And as a result, we accept lower salaries, about 20% lower overall. Allowing ourselves to feel confident only when we're practically perfect. If a man and a woman with the same experience, education, and ability are offered a promotion, and each one has 60% of the skills necessary, the man will go for it and tell himself, I'll figure out the rest. The woman, on the other hand, will tell herself she needs to develop the other 40% before she can even go for it. Apologizing. Often, we blame ourselves for things we didn't even do. Saying I'm sorry frequently has the effect of reinforcing in the woman's mind, in our own minds, that we're inadequate. It also creates the perception that we're insecure and less competent in the minds of others. Allowing what others think to impact our perception of ourselves. Women tend to put way too much value on what others think. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very important, 1 being I really don't care, men will generally tend to be closer to a 1, maybe a 2 or 3 when it comes to the opinion of others. Many women, on the other hand, are closer to an 8 or 9. Lacking the courage to speak up. Women can tend to hesitate or hold back from sharing because of fear and insecurity. Some of those fears may be based on actual experiences when your ideas were dismissed, or someone reacted badly because what you said somehow put them on the defensive. Being fearful of negotiating for money. This is certainly not the whole problem, but surely part of the reason women make less on average is because many are afraid or don't know how to negotiate their salary or ask for a raise. Owning our success. Many women don't feel comfortable speaking about their accomplishments. They don't want to come across as prideful or full of themselves. They want to acknowledge the team that helped them achieve their successes. Yet, if you don't share what you've accomplished and the successes you contributed to, others aren't going to know what you're capable of. Tackling imposter syndrome. This seems to be a thing among women who have achieved some level of success. They live in fear that someone's going to find out it was just a fluke and they really don't have talent. It's a very subtle, almost subconscious belief that is way too prevalent. We need to course correct. If left unchanged, our internal belief system ultimately will become our identity, if it isn't already. Limiting beliefs dampen our confidence. The good news is that we are created with the ability to change the neural pathways that have encouraged the negative self-limiting lines of thinking. The trouble is that it's so much easier to follow the well-trodden paths than it is to create new ones. The obstacles seem bigger. The effort required is greater. It is. The fear is heightened as we endeavor to travel paths that are unfamiliar and new to us. All the more reason we need to band together for support and encouragement and lean on an all-powerful God who gives us strength for all things. In fact, his word tells us that his strength is made perfect in our weakness.